Stop. Sorry, I don't want to like stop the flow of talking, and then I didn't want you to like.
Poo is okay.
Poo's okay? Okay.
Tree's bad, poo good.
Poo, he'll be fine. See, I already got nervous with the poo.
Oh, won't you come get lost with me?
As a lifelong adventurer, I've learned that exploring the outdoors isn't about escaping reality, it's about discovering it. Join me as I show you new experiences in amazing places. So let's get outside, embrace the local state of mind, and find your next adventure.
Hey, hey, won't you come get lost? Won't you come get lost with me? Hey, hey, won't you come get lost? Won't you come get lost with me? Hey, hey, won't you come get lost? Won't you come get lost with me? Hey, hey, won't you come get lost? Won't you find might set you free?
This episode of AWOL was brought to you in part by All Trails, your guide to the outdoors. To end our first season of AWOL, I'm packing my bags and headed out on a little road trip. And my producers have arranged for me, as they put it, an awesome adventure mobile.
Bring me the van.
Now that I'm underway, I can tell you my first stop is to the DC metro area. I'm sure you're thinking, oh my gosh, not another travel show touring Washington, DC. No, in typical AWOL fashion, I'm going to attempt to show you a completely different side of town. And to make this point, our first stop is to Rock Creek Park. This park is isolated from the incessant noise of the beltway and the city around it. Cue relaxing nature ambient sound in 3, 2.
So what I found out via the internet is these are pieces of stone from the Capitol building. About like late 1950s, 1960s, they were renovating the Capitol building, and so they brought the stones here, and some of the renovation was actually damaged that they were fixing from the fire of 1812. So they have just the stones kind of here in the park, just sitting here like a little sandstone graveyard that you can wander about and get lost in.
Joining me on the rest of my walk through the park is my friend Aisha.
I used to live in Bethesda. Just take out my bike from my house and just go onto the Bethesda Georgetown Trail. And then I would go all the way down to the waterfront, DC. We would have a beer, and then we would ride all the way back. Yeah. So that was the motivation. Sometimes you're like, oh my God, I want to stop. You're like, no, I'm gonna get a beer. So you see, there's no excuse.
I read that Teddy Roosevelt come here walking all the time. He lost a gold ring when he was out here walking about, and so he put an ad in the paper and said, lost a gold ring in Rock Creek Park. If found, please return to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Wow. I think that nature and outdoors sports is amazing because it just unifies. And I think it's like a lot of people think you have to have all this special gear and you have to have all this money. But to enjoy the outdoors, you don't need anything. You just need some water and some shoes,
yeah,
some sunscreen and some glasses, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. And what I love about the DMV area, which is like DC, Maryland, Virginia, is that everything is accessible really quickly. You can get to the mountains, you can get to a trail, you can get to the water, a river,
To the beach with wild ponies.
Yeah, it's there. It's not that far.
Yeah.
All you have to do is kind of like want it.
To continue my outdoor-focused tour of the DC area, I'm headed just a few miles west into Maryland to do some climbing about.
We have been here for over 15 years. We have all sorts of climbing. We have bouldering, like what's going on behind us. We have rope climbing, goes all the way up to 50 feet. We have a full-service fitness area, yoga studio, fitness classes, personal training, and my favorite are our outdoor programs. We take guided trips through the Maryland, Virginia area to get folks climbing on real rock. That's where we started as a company. It's really my passion, is to go outside, giving them a chance to experience it and share our passion with climbing.
Angel, did you get that?
What? Oh, I got it. Brandon, I'm stoked, man.
Just a few miles east of Rockville is the Carter Rock Recreation Area. It's only a few minutes from DC city limits, yet feels miles away and engulfs you into nature.
We just put these down?
Yeah, you can put them down here. Let's go ahead and get our harnesses on.
What's the new standard? I was educated on this recently.
For city-dwelling rock climbers, this slab of rock, although small, is a centerpiece to the climbing community.
All belay? Climbing. I need a place to put my foot. Anybody got any tips? The layback?
Hey, I don't know if you guys saw this. There's this movie about rock climbing that's really big right now. And he did this. Okay, leaning back. We're gonna... Oh, take. Oh, falling. Now I gotta try that all over again. Do you think on camera they can tell that I'm not doing anything at this moment? All right, thanks, man. All right, yay! All right, I did it.
One of the hardest things sometimes is finding the route.
Yeah.
I think is fun. You get better at reading the rock over time. What kind of cracks, ridges, or nubs sticking out can work for you. You actually feel like you're using your brain, finding your own way. Indoors, it's all just painted for you. Out here, you have to actually route find and explore.
With the sunset nearing, I'm crossing back into the district once more to check out the cherry blossoms and hang out with my pal Jason at his home along the Washington Channel. And not to completely deny you of seeing some of Washington, D.C.'s most iconic landmarks, he's going to take me to see a few of his favorites. Oh, but I might have forgotten to mention that Jason lives on a boat, so here's to a cruise on the Potomac with Jason and a few of his fellow boat-living neighbors.
This is Memorial Bridge, which is one of the coolest bridges to go under. You go under it, the Lincoln right there and the Washington will like line up from the water.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Georgetown. Up ahead on your right, you will see the Georgetown Marina. Just northwest of that, over the hill, is the Georgetown Cathedral. The Georgetown Cathedral, we're just gonna go with it.
With DC in my rear view, I'm now headed across the bay to Virginia's eastern shore.
I just got on the island. I'm on Chincoteague.
The island itself is pretty large, but the bulk of it, that's actually the make of the island, is actually water. So really, the island's only a little teeny bit of what actually is a part of Chincoteague. I can already tell it's just about coming here and unwinding, not scheduling a bunch of things. You drive slow and you watch ducks fly by. Woo! So when I was researching the island, they told me that a lot of people who visit here, they just come, they either bring their own bike or they rent a bike for a week while they stay here, and then they pretty much don't get in their car again. I don't always have friends in everywhere I visit, so I am meeting new ones, and I'm meeting up with Uli. She is gonna take us on a bike ride around and show us the sights and tell us a little bit about the island. How long have you lived on the island?
About 12 years, off and on.
Off and on? What brought you here the first time?
My husband, yeah, he's American. We met in Germany, and I've never been to the States before I met him. He would always come here to Chincoteague as a kid, and we loved it so much that we decided we want to retire here one day.
What do you like about living on the island?
I would say almost everything. It's a small town, you know, so you know a lot of people and everybody helps everybody. Those houses, like the blue one there, you know, that's more like a fisherman's cottage. You know, there's a lot here on the island.
You gonna jump the curb?
Yeah, I'm going to.
Seashells, oh cute.
Yep.
We're coming back to buy seashells. What's the house name or something?
Okay, the house, it was Captain Timothy Hill, and he got stranded here. Something happened to his ship. I'm not sure exactly what, but he stayed here after, I guess his ship sank. That's what they were saying.
Ahead of the game. This is like tiny houses before tiny houses.
That is one of the oldest structures on the island. It's from 1800. It's really cool too because it has all these sailboats carved into the outside.
Oh wow, okay. Cover that part up. The website not closed for the season.
My husband works in DC and he works 4 10-hour days. My kids and I, we stay here. We loved it so much here that we just decided we make it work. And so he comes home Thursday evenings and that's perfect, you know. And then we have the weekend together.
On the other side of the island, I'm stopping by the workshop of local duck Decoy Carver, Roe Duckman-Terry.
I went in the Navy 71 to 75. I came out, I went to work for NOAA, tracking weather satellites, stayed there 4 years and quit. I came out here to carve for a living, and the story goes that I came home and told the wife I was going to quit my job and carve ducks for a living, and she said, if you do, I'm going to leave you. And then the next chapter said I did and she didn't. And I came out here and I had to prove her wrong. I had to prove that I could make a living making ducks with my hands. Now I can't give it up.
What's so significant about decoys and duck hunting here? Like, I mean, it seems like it's a thing.
It just this tradition passed on from generation to generation to generation. And now the collectors started looking at them as pieces of art, as one-of-a-kind handmade items, and it just took off. And now they're very, very sought after. All around the Chesapeake Bay, Maryland, some of the most famous carvers in the world came from the Chincoteague in Virginia. There's a lot of easier ways to get rid of this wood. A lot of people use grinding tools, but this is a way that the old timers taught me, and I just can't get away from it. Well, I do a lot of benefits. People get down on their luck or they get sick. You try to help people out. The Chincoteague and the Eastern Shore is real big on that. Try to take care of our own. Somebody might need a little hand. All the carvers, artists, the restaurants will donate coupons and motels for rooms. And get together and have a big social. Give the money to the people that need it. The most satisfaction I get now is in hunting is not just killing the birds, but having them land and swim up to the decoy and
They actually look at the decoy and then they realize it's not a real bird. It's enjoyable to fool Mother Nature. It's been a good life. Ducks have been real good to me. You only get out of life what you put into it.
Sure.
Back across the island, I'm grabbing dinner and heading over to the island's sole brewery to speak with their proprietors and what brought them to Chincoteague.
We fell in love with Chincoteague because his family actually started vacationing here when he was like really young. And then I came along, girlfriend in tow, you know. Yep. I fell in love with it because the beach here is not like Ocean City Boardwalk, you know, like it's different. It's a refuge, it's protected, it's about like the nature and kind of that natural setting, and we just like fell in love with the fact that time moves so slow here, and we basically said we're gonna do whatever it takes to come here and live here. Then we're like, oh my God, like we could be the first brewery on Virginia Beach Shore. That's what we're gonna do. That's how we're going to make Chincoteague our home.
So Salts is the first beer that we ever knew we'd brew. Before anything, we knew we'd have Salts. Salts is Chincoteague in the glass. There's an old German style of beer called Gose. It was a lightly tart, salty wheat beer.
What we're trying to do is kind of like pave that way where beer, like wine, is going to start reflecting where it's grown.
The oysters in Chincoteague are world-renowned for their brininess, for their salinity. They're literally called Chincoteague salts.
Yeah, that's
so
the name of the oysters.
Oh, wow.
Salts, yeah.
Right? So we were like, we need to do something that actually highlights and represents what we're doing, where we're doing it.
We're drinking lots of good beer.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers to Chincoteague in the glass.
Oh, whoa.
Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, right? Everyone who drinks it is like just like they never tasted anything like it.
That's cool.
Like for us, that's why we open this place, because there's faces behind every pour that comes out of those taps.
On road trips, often the most fun is finding a place to stay. I'm taking advantage of having the adventure van with me and setting up camp island style. Hashtag van life, anybody?
What should we do first? You only want to look at the ponies. That's what you always want to do. We'll go look at the ponies.
Now that I'm done with all that horsing around, my temporary backyard with included lighthouse views is the Wildlife Refuge and is my next stop.
So I'm gonna check out and do some walking around on the Chincoteague National Wildlife Refuge. The refuge is on Chincoteague Island, which is a part of Chincoteague Island National Seashore. It has 14,000 acres, and I know this because I just read the brochures. Oh yeah. Probably pick that up. It was just a joke. Look at this weird shrub. There's like thorns all around it. It's the weirdest thing. It could be like a great, like medieval weapon. This is really beautiful. You know, we're right here. The parking lot's not too far away from this trail, and it's just quiet. No one's out. Birds are being birds, and other things that make noise are being other things that make noise. This is probably why so many people enjoy coming to this place. I'm gonna jump into all trails. I'm just gonna use the cool little feature where you can hit the little arrow and find trails near you, so you can see some other trails that we can go walk while we're here. So it looks like there's another trail called the Island Nature Trail, which is back near downtown. I think we'll go check that one out too.
Well, I am on the Island Nature Trail. This is pretty close to downtown Chincoteague, and this is the trail I pulled up on All Trails. It is 1.4 miles, dog friendly on the leash, kid friendly, bird watching, hiking, wildflowers, and bugs. Cool. I don't know how it's labeled, but I guess this is a plant marker. So this is a cinnamon fern that I actually didn't know about. I just looked down and saw them. That's neat.
Do you guys remember on my bike ride earlier when we passed that table of seashells for sale?
We're coming back to buy seashells.
I must investigate further.
So I think you just put the money in this thing. All right. Buy one. That's mine. $1. Very much.
Souvenir. To finish off my trip, I'm spending the day with a lifelong Chincoteaguer and oysterman, Tommy Clark. First to pick up some of the daily catch on his aqua farm, then to lunch at his family-owned restaurant.
Man, he looks majestic up there. How far out is the...
It's right on the other side of those woods.
Okay, cool.
It's Tom's Cove over on Chincoteague Island.
All right. Woo-wee, that is windy.
But just keep in mind that we have to work in this all winter.
Yeah.
Year round. So when you go in the grocery store in December and see clams and oysters in there, think of the poor guys been out here picking them up.
Are you born and raised here?
I am. Yeah. The old timers on the island were born on the island. And then my generation in the 50s, 60s, they started going to hospitals on the mainland, and then you come back. My grandmother was born in McKinley Park on the western shore. She lived here for 78 years, but because she wasn't born on Chincoteague, she never considered herself a Chincoteaguer.
No way.
Nope. All right, well, are we ready to go a little faster?
Let's do it.
We won't go real fast now.
That helped.
There you go, you're officially an oysterman now.
Feel honored.
Raised them up to grains of sand and then on our land-based nursery and got them up to 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Then we'll bring them out here and put them in these grow-out cages. And this is where all they do is sit here and grow. They filter, like each oyster filters 50 gallons of water a day. And what they're doing is going through right now, picking out the large ones, the ones that are marketable. You can see where they come out of the nursery right here.
Yeah. Am I looking at this?
No, you can eat it.
I can eat it?
Have you ever had a Chincoteague oysters?
No.
Well, try that. This is a genuine Chincoteague oyster.
All right.
Get this first one.
It's already cut? It's already cut?
Yep.
Okay. Man, that's good.
That quick aftertaste you get is just like fresh ocean water.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what makes the Chincoteague oyster so famous.
That's my first raw oyster.
You're not going to get it much better than this. That is for sure.
Clearly doing this for a long time. You have some tolerance. My hands are freezing and he's out there bare-handing wet rope. It's kind of amazing.
We've got come ears, we've got left ears, barn ears, But you can usually tell the local Chincoteaguers.
Okay. What's the tell?
Attitudes.
Attitudes?
Attitudes.
Okay.
The things we do, we don't hurt our environment, we look out for it. I mean, we steered it in the direction it's become.
You know, I've been going on road trips since I could drive, and let me tell you, there's just something about hitting the open road, riding into new towns with little to no agenda, and just going with the flow. You know, I can't always remember what I saw or did, but I always remember the people who welcomed me in with open arms and showed me what brought them joy in their hometown. It doesn't matter if you're in a big city or a sleepy island. It's just amazing the experience you can have when you just let people take you in. That's what makes the journey memorable.
I want you to come get lost with me.
This episode was made possible in part by our friends at All Trails, your guide to the outdoors.
Hey, hey, won't you come get lost? Won't you come get lost with me? Hey, hey, won't you come get lost? Won't you come get lost with me? Hey, hey, won't you come get lost? Won't you come get lost with me? Hey, hey, won't you come get lost? Won't you come get lost with me? Hey, hey, won't you come get lost? Won't you come get lost with me? Hey, hey, won't you come get lost? Won't you fly, might set you free?